Yep, it's gonna be a bloodbath. I'm gonna be dropping pretty much everything. Not everything, but let me explain to you the thought process. This is gonna be an interesting week. So, what's important to note is the average viewership for a horizontal scaling channel. Shoutouts to MapleStory. If you guys don't understand what a horizontal scaling channel is, it's basically a channel like mine, Freshest Animes, your boy Roshi, and others that farms seasonal slot, right? We're always there trying to figure out what's trending, what's hot. We go off of that. And due to the nature of having so many different series, what this ends up doing is fragmenting your audience. So I always bring up my example with the second channel, right? The second channel is a vertical scaling channel. Horizontal means I have multiple buckets and a little bit of water is being poured into each of the bucket. And the overall volume of that water in every bucket is going to be the same as a vertical channel where we only have one bucket. And instead of having many different buckets to spread the water, it's all in one. And the bucket here is the video. You'll notice that the specific vertical scaling one show locked in is able to get an average viewership that is about 100%, right? Who knows how much this will change, but right now at 12K subs, we are in the ballpark of around 12K, 10K strong, right? Sometimes it goes up high if it's really popular. Sometimes it's, you know, low. I think that obviously these type of videos are more specific community oriented. So these are going to obviously have lower viewership, right? But for the long run, it's like this for vertical scaling. So, and the logic behind that, by the way, is when you're making content on YouTube, the most important thing, if you're trying to maximize average viewership per video, is having a specific focus. Lock into one niche and keep compounding off of that. And once you run out of content to farm from that, you need to pivot. By then, you'll have a community, if you've done a good enough job to actually compel the audience, and you move on to something else, just like what happened with Beyblade, and then we moved to Ben 10. The issue with this type of channel, though, is even though the average viewership is extremely high, it is limited in how much videos we can pump out. It's not smart to pump out 6 Ben 10 reaction videos per day. There is viewership fatigue. It's not a good idea, right? But the main channel is not limited by that. Even though the average viewership suffers, because we can continuously pump out content at scale, we actually come out on top and there's more flexibility and sustainability in the future. So with that being said, what is the percentage that I think is a good mark to be at? Well, let's just check out some of the channels that do dominate the scene, right? So shout out to your boy Roshi. If you look at their channel with 1 million subs, how often do they hit, let's say, a 10% figure? A 10% figure is 100,000 views for their channel. And you can see that there isn't really any here until boom, right there. It's Welcome to Dairy episode 1. I don't know what the hell that's about, but apparently it's a really poppin' show. And you'll notice that a lot of these different shows, right? 14K is holy fuck. That's actually disgusting that Fragrant Flower is doing that bad for their channel, considering it's such an elite romance anime. But you'll notice that 53, they constantly hit around that 5% to 10% mark, right? Sometimes it goes really low to here, but they're honestly at such a big size and their community is so big that this is called fuck you money. They are so built as a brand. They're so solidified into the network that they can fuck around, you know, and be perfectly fine. So them getting a 1 to 2% to obviously the subscriber count ratio, while it may be bad for myself that's still trying to grow, they don't give a fuck because they've got it made. That's a privilege that they've earned. And hopefully we can get to that point where we don't have to drop shows because of this number metric going on. But here we go again. 100K right here, 100K right here. It doesn't happen often, but you can see that it seems like a good video for them. Oh, sometimes it just pops off like this. This is like when specific things are happening, when something is trending, and now you capitalize on that hype. MHA is popping off, Bakugo is popping off, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, that's gonna be the ceiling for sometimes. But for the most part, you can tell that they kind of hover around this 5 to 10% mark, right? Let's look at Nicholas Light as well, right? Another successful channel that has 1 million subscribers. What is he up to? Well, if you look at his videos too, he doesn't farm as much seasonal slop compared to me and your boy Roshi. He definitely focuses more on specific content. So I couldn't really call him like a horizontal scaling channel, but he does cover many different topics. It's not right now the flavor is One Punch Man, and because he heavily focuses on this topic, notice how more often he gets these 100k views, right? This is, you know, obviously a tall tale sign of him understanding how the algorithm works and building off of that niche. And you'll see that successful videos like this is again in that 10% figure, right? 10%, again, if it's 1.2 mil, 10% should be around 120,000 viewership or something like that, right? But that's pretty good. And the reason that I'm bringing up these channels for comparison is to make you understand what is my 5 to 10% ratio for a channel with 53k subs. Well, if you did the math, it's about 2.5 thousand views to 5,000 viewership. That is the expected range that I should be operating in, comparing to other big channels, to maintain some sort of momentum. And before you say, well, that's not fair, you have obviously 20 times less subscribers, they're gonna have more dead subs. You're right, they do have more dead subs. So you have to realize the dead subs are a percentage scaling. Like, whatever dead subs that they may have, it's not going to be that significant different in a percent wise to my channel, my sub. This is an assumption being made, but it just makes sense. So let's just work off of that and now think, are there shows that needs to be dropped? Yes, abso-fucking-lutely. Fall has been a disaster of a season in terms of retaining momentum. In the beginning, it's so easy to pop off, and listen, you can blame the shadow ban all you want. The shadow ban affects every single video equally. To single out some shows being, oh, it's not fair because the shadow ban that got dropped, doesn't matter. So let's figure out, what are we dropping right now? Well, right here. Last week, what'd I say? Banished Party, Court Magician. Can't even hit 2.5%. Sorry, it barely hit 2.5%. Viewership is down, views are down, garbage audience. Look at this shit. They don't give a fuck. And you know what? This episode was boring. It's a setup as it goes to the next arc, and people are gonna say, wow, you're dropping it just when the stories get hype. Doesn't matter. Just because a story gets hyped suddenly after 6 fucking weeks doesn't mean that the audience is gonna pull up immediately. Dead show. Ungrateful audience. And I'm tired of making content for an audience that doesn't exist while sacrificing the silent lurkers that's waiting for more community series. Dead. Gone. How about this? Reincarnator. It's been fun, not gonna lie. It's been fun for a while, but it's definitely been dropping off. And you know what? The end tier drama was kind of fun for a bit, but it's run its course. And now, yep, it's dead. It's dead. Can't even hit fucking 5%, bro. Barely made it. Barely made the cut. Nah, I don't care. Even if the watch time might be pretty good, I think that I'm done watching these animes. I'm fucking done. Here's another one. Tojima. What a fraudulent fucking show. What a fraudulent fucking show. This shit is still not the biggest fall off, by the way. Because may I have one last one where it is actually the biggest fall off. This show starts out with 13k. And you know what? In the beginning, it was super hype and fun. But the gimmick wears off because there isn't enough Tackle's titties being fucking jiggling around anymore. And the moment that it tries to actually have some sort of story and plot for Yakuza Man, what happens? They're out. I'm wasting my time. Barely fucking made 2k after that. This is garbage, bro. This is absolutely fucking garbage. What am I doing with my fucking life? Making content for an audience that doesn't exist. For what? What's the logic? Your completionism? Every video that I make on a topic that doesn't hit means there's that many people that is being frustrated and upset that they're not getting the content that they want. It makes no sense to keep committing to shows hoping it's gonna get better, it's gonna get better. No, it's not. It's actually getting worse and worse and worse. You can tell a significant drop off right here for every fucking show, huh? And this is what it means. After the first 4 weeks, the true viewership shows up. The true viewership shows up. Ooh. Who is this retard right here? Second channel retard coming up. First message is just watch, start the avatar. How about you go fuck yourself, you stupid ass tourist? You don't deserve the content in the second channel either. Middle of recording a video in the main channel, first message you pull up, you break the rules and you start demanding content. Go fuck yourself. Holy shit. The entitlement, the lack of respect for anyone else other than their immediate desires. What a fucking dumbass kid, but what do I expect from children? Okay, let's get back to it. So, Tojima also dropped. It is what it is. Chitose. Should Chitose be dropped? Let's check. It's barely making it in. Obviously, it's been more than a week. But still, this is like barely fucking making it, right? Because right now, I'm working in the 5 to 10% range. And I think the minimum viewership should be at least around like 2,500 with decent enough engagement. It's a coin toss, honestly. We could drop it, but it's slightly north of 5%. So I'm going to keep it. And we'll see what happens in December. But in December, if it's a week because of the hiatus, it's fucking dead. Next up, Mugen Gacha. How is Mugen Gacha doing? Pretty fucking good, baby. Yup. Week after week, even a week episode is still in that significant figure of 5 to 10%. It's able to almost reach 5% consistently. Had a strong start. This anime does have a core audience, and I am very glad. Mugen Gacha survives, baby. Twisted Wonderland. How about that? Twisted Wonderland. The ladies are pulling up. Yes, they are. Now, technically, Twisted Wonderland right now is only 3 episodes in, and it's also been very weak 3 episodes. But even then, the hardcore fan base of girls that pull up, and why do I mention it's girls? Well, let me just prove to you. Let me just prove to you. Right? Look at this shit. 52 subs are fucking weird. And again, at the 3rd day mark, the shadow ban, you know, gets lifted. Sorry, not gets lifted, but finally, you know, it gets offered to the viewers that actually wants to watch this shit. Look at this shit, right? 66, what is this? 2/3 is female audience? What is this shit? Same over here too, right? Shadow ban shit. Look at the audience. 83. Yeah, by this episode, by the 2nd episode, the dudes were like, I'm getting the fuck out of here. This is a waste of time. And then you got something like this right here. Obviously, the ladies are pulling up, and it's barely making. It's barely holding on, right? I'm going to give it one more week, right? I'm going to give it one more week. Technically, it did make it within, you know, the 5 to 10% range, barely. But we'll see what happens, because the story apparently does get pretty interesting moving forward, and it's worth checking out. Maybe. It's the tutorial part. That's what's called. So Twisted Wonderland survives. One Punch Man. Oh, we don't even have to fucking check it out, but it's crazy, huh? It's crazy how one of the most dog shit animes of the season is consistently hitting. Well, this is season 1 content. This is season 1 content, right? The season 3 content here. Let's see it. How's season 3 doing? Yeah. It's honestly like 7K. And this is when you have a show. It's like Blue Lock all over again, right? Super popular series, getting done dirty, a lot of drama and controversy surrounding it. Doesn't matter how dog shit the episodes are, people will still pull up to watch. One Punch Man obviously survives. Let's check out Wild Last Boss. How is that doing? I think Wild Last Boss is also very, very safe, right? Look at this. Consistent, strong. This is not a fraudulent series. It's got a very strong audience that actually cares about the story. It's obviously fallen off, just like every show, right? Again, you're gonna always fall off no matter what, right? Hello, Dina. I think it's a Dina. But look at this shit, right? What I want to show you is... Fuck, why isn't it working? Hey. Here we go. What do I always show you? First week, so fucking easy to get views. 2nd, 3rd, 4th, that's what we're looking for, right? This is what we're looking for. Every time, it's like week 1, week 2, week 3, and then like week 4. And then after that, new baselines established. A lot of people just check out shows. It also obviously helps that we're not shadow banned in the beginning of a season, but people drop shows and they move on. So what we're looking for is here, where does it land? And most of the shows that we dropped today has done this. It's done this. That's where they are. And we need to get rid of this shit. Because the more that we farm this shit, the more that we are, again, wasting our time making content for people that don't even matter. Like, why would I sacrifice, again, the majority to satisfy the minority for the sake of completionism? It just doesn't make sense. That's how you kill a channel's momentum. You have to keep being aware of, like, who are the audience right now? Who's watching my content? What can I do with it, right? So while Last Boss survives, Princess. Let's look at Princess. Yeah, this shit's dead. Right there. This is it right here. And you know what? Princess also started very strong. But just like any show, dead. And you know what's the interesting thing about Princess? It's that this show, I think, had a lot of potential and was really good, but in the beginning, what was it heavily getting off of? It was getting off of the father-daughter relationship with a tragic comedy. After that was done around here, what happens? We go into some real plot shit with, you know, the magic. What's going on with the magic stuff? What's going on with Jeanette, Ezekiel? No one gives a fuck about that. And that's when it matters. When no one gives a fuck about the story, that's the viewership that actually matters. I care more about the fucking baseline, the floor, rather than the ceiling. It's so easy to get views when things are hype, when things are fun. What about when things are getting a little stale? What about when things are getting a little slow? That is the actual audience that matters, and you can't even fucking satisfy that. Another fucking fraudulent ass audience, garbage ass fucking audience. I'm done. I'm done wasting fucking time farming shows for an audience that doesn't exist. Drop. Get the fuck out of my face. Here we go. Here's another one too. Jujutsu Kaisen. No, it's not Jujutsu Kaisen. May I ask? And you know what? Holy shit. What a fucking fall off. I think this is the biggest fall off of this season. And it makes sense. The gimmick of One Punch Girl. How long is that gonna last? It doesn't have a strong story like One Punch Man to last all the way through, right? It's fun for a bit, but you can tell right here. This is it. 4th episode, people gone. Why? Because after that first arc, now we're going to a different arc with a different plot, with the religion stuff, and now it's just becoming slice of life rom-com, which is not even that funny. What a fucking fall off. I'm done. Get the fuck out of my face. Dropped. Let's talk about Grieving Souls. Let's talk about Grieving Souls, huh? Grieving Souls, solid. Week after week. And by the way, Grieving Souls is a sequel. A sequel meaning it should have a debuff. Just like this concept of how the more episodes you go in, the more shit gets filtered out. A sequel actually gets filtered out even more, because now after you finish the season, how many of those people are going to pull up? So already you filtered out people through this process during season 1. And then you get another process of that happening in season 2. And where does it land? In that comfortable 5 to 10% range where there exists 10% viewership too. Strong, solid show, very strong community series. Not a community series, it's a seasonal content, but resonates with my audience. It survives. It's a good show to keep around. Classless Hero. You would think that we would drop this show, right? You would think that we would drop this show. Hold up. Hero without a class. It survives. Despite all odds, somehow this fucking garbage show made from the garbage studio known as Studio ACAT, when given to a different team with more time maybe, they're able to deliver peak junk food. It is consistently hitting the 5 to 10% range in the upper echelon. And even after an arc change, it's doing good enough. Now, who knows how long this is gonna last, right? Because I think that the Magic Academy stuff might start to be a little bit boring for some people. But still, it's surviving for now. We keep this shit. We keep it going. And Assassin Isekai. Wow, what a fraudulent fucking show. Isn't this crazy? Who would have thought at the beginning of the season that Assassin Isekai was gonna get dropped before Classless Hero? Because Classless Hero, again, if you didn't notice, right? This is from last week, November 12th. It can't even break 2,000 views. You look at Classless Hero, right? This got uploaded, obviously, day after. But it's gonna keep cooking for a bit. I think it's gonna be fine, considering the viewership here. I think that the fact that Assassin can't even break 2,000, it can't even break 1,700 views. Holy shit, what a fucking fraudulent ass audience. I'm losing subs making videos off of this. And why is that? This episode, by the way, was probably the most exciting one in terms of action. You know why it's doing bad? Because the story is fucking retarded. People, I think, have realized that the story is garbage around at this point. And as soon as we got off the Elf arc, it's like, yeah, we're gone. Fraudulent ass show. Doesn't matter how good your show looks. If the story is so uncompelling, then it's gone. Womp womp. Dropped. How's Genosha doing? Genosha barely survives. Now, Genosha is, I think, on the chopping block. I think for sure if there's any show that we're going to be dropping pretty soon, it's going to be Genosha and Classless Hero. It did survive. It's barely making into that 5% figure. It's a really fun watch for me to, you know, be engaged with the game. But I can tell that this type of show, unless the hardcore audience, there's a significant enough to hit that 5% mark, it's gonna get dropped pretty soon. But it survives for another week. We'll see what happens by next week, but I think that it's gonna be getting dropped pretty soon. Gachakuda? Nothing need to be said. It's the fucking best show of this season, bro. This comment means nothing. I think Genosha is gonna be peak soon. This comment literally doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how peak the next arc is gonna be. Do you think that the audience that have dropped it are suddenly gonna just show up out of nowhere? No matter how good the backloaded content is, if you can't keep the momentum in the beginning, it's dead. That's how it works in YouTube reactions. It's an unfortunate reality. And Gachakuda, strong. Every fucking week, exceeding expectations, almost at that 5% figure, sorry, 10% figure every single time, with multiple episodes breaking 10%. Abso-fucking-lutely, we're continuing Gachakuda. And that's pretty much it for the shows that we are dropping. Wow, look at that, man. I think this is the first time that the amount of shows that we've dropped exceeds the amount that we're keeping. And it truly goes to show how weak this season of anime is. Every single of these shows has been dropped due to either copyright issues, but even then without copyright, the viewership was gonna be ass no matter what. It's fucking dead. And don't blame me. You dropped it. Not you as an individual, but you, the consumer, as a whole. You've told me that you don't give a fuck about these shows. Now, let me give you some example of why we're dropping these shows and what we're gonna replace with. It's simple. Death Note. Every fucking episode is exceeding expectations over that 10% mark easily, with engagement of the likes being significantly higher. Why? Because I'm working with my audience. These are carefully curated shows that is designed for my audience. So of course it's gonna do well, better than random seasonal shit that we pick up. But again, that's a bunch of random people coming in to show up and they can't even do it, right? What else is really popping off right now? One Punch Man Season 1. One Punch Man Season 1, abso-fucking-lutely dominating, bro. And I'm so happy that even though this is a rewatch right now, that it is able, not a rewatch, it's more of like, for the first time I'm watching, and you can see right here, right? Third day mark hit, you can see the viewership going up right here. 1 second. See? Right there, right? Boom. Third day hit, spikes the viewership, and every time it hits about that, you know, what's it called? 10%, a third day, it easily breaks into that over 10% viewership, right? We look at One Punch Man, right? You look at this shit. Yep. These episodes. Alright, what else is there? Nisei Monogatari. talk about how weak Nisei is. We've constantly been complaining about how weak Nisei is, Monogatari is, because of the nature of the content. Yet look at the viewership. Look at the viewership compared to the seasonal content. Suddenly, this Nisei looks like a godlike series, does it not? And it should tell you even more how significant, you know, like dropping these shows are. Like how important it is. For a community series that should be weak to be doing this fucking well compared to the seasonal content, yup, we should have dropped this shit a long fucking time ago. What else is there? And I think I'm showing you all. And now, what happens? Now we have time that we can build to cover Frieren, One Punch Man Season 2. These shows are absolutely going to be hitting that 10% figure and exceeding that. What else? Maybe if we even have time, Jujutsu Kaisen. I don't know. But I feel like this is the way forward. Now let's rate the shows. Classless Hero this week was... It was good. It was a fun episode. It's fun to see, you know, some sort of test happen with the children, you know, being threatened to die. But then it's like, haha, we're just kidding. Kind of funny episode. We'll see what happens later on. Thank you, Garrett242 for the Prime. Mugen Gacha, great episode. Great episode of destroying the elves. And you know what? Again, we're going to promote shows into the peak later on, but absolutely great episode. Love the vengeance that we got, the righteous justice we deliver onto the shitty ass elves. The elves, you know, the voice acting was so fucking good. The action sequence was pretty. It's fun. And now we're being set up to the next arc against more elves. Hell yeah, baby. Chitose is, you know, currently, you know, in hiatus. Twisted Wonderland, not gonna lie, holy shit, it's fucking mid right now. I just don't really care about the random monsters we're fighting, nor about the characters. It's so hard for me to actually enjoy this show right now, I genuinely. Like, I'm trying my best to appreciate the show for what it is, but it just has such unappealing characters to me. I can tell it's not made for me, for sure. The story is so unappealing because it's still apparently tutorial land. I'm waiting for something to fucking happen, but the ladies are loving it, so we'll let it cook for a little bit more. Hopefully the story can actually do something more than fucking random ass cleaning and fighting random monsters that doesn't add to the story. Wild Last Boss, great episode. Love the whole, you know, real life social commentary about two factions being instigated to wage war against each other with the ruling class, you know, puppeteering them. Dina is so fucking beyond sus. We got a little bit more shit about that. I think Dina definitely is Venus by now. If it's not, it's gonna be ridiculous. Some hype action is gonna happen next episode. I think that even if it was a setup episode, it was still a great episode. Grieving Soul, genuinely great. Holy shit. Grieving Soul, like, it's such a chaotic series where some episodes the jokes just don't land, the comedy just doesn't land. Like the conclusion of the hot spring stuff, I was like, okay, this is messy. This episode was so fun. It's a setup one where we're going to the banquet and just having slice of life interactions, but I noticed that the strength of this show is its ability to highlight the supporting cast that's been shown since season 1 and for them to interact with the main roster and for us to keep having fun. We got to have Ansem's, you know, actual power of how he can shrink and get big, you know, announced too. Luke is a crash out, you know, Liz, Stri, and Tino, they're all fighting for, you know, Kry's affection, Kry's being a fucking idiot and getting away with it. You know, the character designs are always so funny to me. The king is a fucking epic dude. We're getting a new arc happening pretty soon, you know, with the bodyguard arc. Fantastic slice of life comedy episode. Just cozy, comfortable watch. Loved it. Genosha, I think, was a good episode. It was a big brain episode that was also kind of sus with the fucking captain diddling the Kukurishka. Like, what the hell was that? Rakyu pulled the fuck up. You know what? Because Rakyu pulled the fuck up, let's put it in great. Rakyu genuinely did, like, Rakyu has been getting killed off over and over again, and now they showed us like their true power, and it's just like, wow. Like, every episode, kill Rakyu immediately. It became like a community meme, a running gag. At this point, bro, Rakyu was like, all right, let me play for a bit. Dominated. Yuri had all the information, still failed. Rakyu flipped the script so well, and the lesson is form over substance. If you start panicking, if you're not able to compel the masses with your conversation, then even if you have all the fucking knowledge, you're done. Gachakuda. Hell yeah, baby. Hell fucking yeah. Strongest anime of the season. Keeps fucking peaking. Watchman series. Shivers. Bro, I love titles like that, man. Something like like Attack on Titan would be like The Basement, you know? Chainsaw Man will be like, I don't know, like The Door. I don't fucking know. Like, dude, this episode, I know nothing action heavy happened. Dear, you know, the Santa Bros popping off at the end was really fun, and I think next episode's gonna be probably the best episode of Gachakuda, considering all the hype surrounding the director that's gonna pull up for the Santa Bros fight. But finally, we got a little bit more lore about the Watchmen series, what Regto's book could be, how Rudo got his gloves, the plan to get to the sphere, the overall direction, you know, highlighting the monologue of Zodil. Man, it was fucking peak. The soundtrack, it's like some Witcher 3. If you play the game Witcher 3, you know what I'm talking about. There's like a female choir vocals happening in the background. It's just so fucking good. One Punch Man. Bro, what are we doing? I think that, okay, the good parts about One Punch Man was that it's so bad that it's turned into a comedy. Then again, it was always comedy, and it should have been funnier without it being bad. I think that the King sequences were fun to me. They were. King walking was ridiculous. People glazing King, I fucking eat that shit up. The King slice of life, all right. Good enough for me. But everything else, holy fuck. The facial structure, the anatomy of the bodies, it's a fucking disco RGB fest. We got new filters unlocked, baby. We got yellow, we got green, we got orange. Holy shit, you are complaining about blue and red, and they're like, bet, we hear you. We're gonna give you more colors now. We're gonna spam that shit. Ay. It was such an iconic setup chapter 2 with the heroes launching off, but the god fucking damn, bro. It really shows you when shit gets outsourced like this and it's in the wrong hands, man. You thought it was bad, like they're like, nope, we can get even worse, and I think that we can still get worse. Yep. But here's the best part. I think that One Punch Man, baby, we ain't done just yet. The true cope is episode 7 onwards, because that's when the real fights happen. No, you think that the episode 5 was it? No. Now the tutorial is over. This is where the real One Punch Man begins. And after episode 7, I'ma say that shit again, all the way to the finale, and hopefully by the finale we'll get a fucking Blue Lock situation with a supercut happening. It's not gonna quench the thirst. It's not. It's gonna make people more mad. Now let's promote some shows. I think these two should go out there. Yeah, I think they should. I genuinely had a lot of fun listening to the lore and the secrets of the Watchmen series and Zodil popping off with Santa Bros being hyped up. And Mugen Gacha, it was a fun pop-off episode with vengeance, righteous vengeance being done to the shitty-ass elves. These are genuinely great episodes. This was fun. Might be here, but it was kind of fun. Yeah, I think this is where I put it. Man, look at this fucking graveyard. Look at this graveyard of anime. And it truly goes to show, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how strong the beginning is, because if it can't again satisfy the 5 to 10% figure that is indicative for our horizontal scaling channel, I'm wasting everyone's fucking time and it's not worth it. And now we can get in more shows that people ask for, more shows that people are waiting for. This is much better strategy, and I've been too merciful. I think that there's a part of me that says just one more. Why not, right? There's a part of me that says, oh, come on, it's not going to be the end of your channel. Oh, come on, it's not. But I think that this mindset just continues to become a domino effect where you start justifying, oh, well, one more of this, one more of that. No, really one more this time. Nope. I'm going to be fucking brutally ruthless. I don't have enough time to be wasting right now. I need to be locked in, and every day needs to count. I can't have 2 fucking days where we're farming random seasonal slop and making everyone watch. Wait, nah, I gotta be locked in and grind hard so that I can get to that position like your boy Roshi is in, where we can start watching shows that gets 1% fucking subscriber to viewership ratio. But at that point, we'll be so solidified as a brand that it doesn't matter. Right now, I'm still on that early game. I think that we are, honestly, I think that our channel right now is graduating from the early game, right? 50k subs, averaging around 2 million views per month. That's pretty competitive. It is. But I'm not going to be comfortable until I'm hitting 4 million per month. That's And even 2 mil per month surpasses most 6-figure channels. There's some really sweaty 6-figure channels that is able to get 4 mil per month. Shoutouts to Carly and Press. What's their name? Yeah, Angie. These dudes, bro. Very competitive. And not only that, they don't even upload that bulk of... No, they do. Not like 6 videos a day, but they're strong. This channel, very fucking strong. I'm trying to hit that 4 mil per month, but again, they're almost at 300k subs, right? They're almost like fucking 6 times bigger than me, so of course they're gonna be doing better. But like, I'm trying to tell you, I'm the lock to fuck in. I need to keep grinding and stop wasting time. Let's graduate from this early game, get into the early mid game. And the early mid game, I think, is defined from like, I don't know, 50k subs to maybe like 250k subs, right? I think that 500,000 subscriber point, honestly, subscriber point doesn't even matter. It's all about average viewership. And if your boy Roshi is at 10 mil viewership per month, if Nicholas Light is around like 8 mil per month, right? These are competitive numbers for sure. I'm not that far behind considering my subscriber base. I think there's something special cooking in our channel right now. Just give me some time. Within the next 5 years, I'll show you, man, how this shit works.